Hey everyone, Gamer C here, and welcome back to a new video. Um, last time we got the Insanity, Broom Closet, and Museum endings, and the female narrator became evil and tried to kill me in the bucket. But however, we stopped her and saved them.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
2 out of 3 of those endings were very
All of his
dark.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Figurine Finders Committee meeting today in the meeting room. Who will host the meeting?
Not everyone is
Everyone's
so
missing.
lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
How we can find them.
Coming to a staircase,
That
Stanley
soundtrack
and the
is
bucket
kinda
walked
creepy.
upstairs to the boss's office.
But however, it fits very well with the suspense Stanley would feel.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
This one I'll be getting
Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Now, by the way, since this is a shorter variant of the press conference ending, I will be
The elevator
playing,
raced downward, plummeting
I'll be
towards
playing
an
multiple
unknown
different
fate.
endings.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Time to go back up.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to
Yep,
go
the
back
number
so I can
3.
try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Why? Do you not understand how awesome of the number 3 is?
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely
accidentally
slamming on the
touched
number
the,
3
number.
over and over
Wrong
and
one.
over.
Do you see how
Wow,
awesome it
he
is?
said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley
knows?
had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Yeah, he needs to feel the amazingness that I felt. The dopamine that rushed through my mind when I pressed this button over and over again during the original press conference ending.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Maybe.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again?
Yep. Perhaps I should. Back up the
No,
elevator we go.
no, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see.
Yeah, I do.
Feel the happiness I feel. He
After
smiled
the
at the
evil
bucket,
female narrator tried
and
to
the
kill
bucket
us.
said nothing.
The warmth and comfort between us has sort of faded. We need to get it back through the number 3. Okay, here we go.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion.
Yep.
He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears.
Yep.
And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all. Only
Maybe
silence.
the bucket is so fascinated that
Crushed
it
by a
won't
wave
react.
of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
Okay, here we go.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator.
Yeah.
He knew that there must be a way to get through to
Oh,
the
the elevator
bucket,
is
to
slower
communicate
now, just
fully
like
with
the
his
original.
dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Yeah. Now, by the way, this is one of the sad endings. There's a good ending and a bad ending to most of these, and this is one of the ones.
Said Stanley.
Unlike the press conference ending,
I know how to
bucket
fully
ending is
express
the
this
good one,
feeling in my heart. He
and
decided
the
right
original is
then
the
and
bad
there
one.
that he would hold a
This
press
one is
conference
sort of
where he
reversed,
would speak to
kinda
the
like the
public
freedom
on
endings.
all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others.
Yep.
It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved
3 again,
one.
3 again. 3 again, 3 again. The freedom ending, wish you were here. Aloha from the freedom ending. Wish you were here. Yeah, Bucket, I wish we did get to see it. The dude who came up with pizza. The Lord meet and greet. The guy who went to Mars. Doing great, a conversation with Alexander the Great. Oh, you get to meet God and the guy who went to Mars? Sign me up. But first, let me...
There was no one here.
I mean, let the Bucket
Nobody
see
had
this.
come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over.
This is sad.
He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him
Don't worry,
seriously.
Stanley.
There would be no connection, no
I'm here
deeper
for you.
understanding. The bucket merely sat
The
there in his
narrator
arms,
is as well.
indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the
This
obvious,
is just
that any
sad.
sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference.
This is just
There would
sad.
be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Yeah. Poor Stanley. Probably the saddest ending in the whole game.
All of his
Involving the
co-workers
bucket.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Very creepy music.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Because we have already gotten pretty much all the endings in this area except for one. I'll get that one and I'll then proceed. Oh, I almost missed it.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
There are 3 Stanlerines in this area. This area alone.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned.
There we go. This will be full of sad moments. Now we gotta backtrack to the escape pod. Now, by the way, in the future, I'll probably make a video titled, Gamer reacts to the saddest moments in gaming, or something like that. There are 2 moments from this video that will be on that list, 100%. $7.58. I prefer this ending over the original. Bucket, are you ready to escape? I will miss you, Bucket. It will be sad without you. Goodbye. Have a fun time in the real world, Bucket. Sad I can't come with you. I'll get a couple more endings, then I'll end the video.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Well, from here, it looks like the only way forward is down, since the lift won't be coming back, but that's okay. You've got a bucket.
Yep.
Did you know that buckets are routinely used as cushioning devices? It's true.
Actually.
You can fall on a bucket from literally any height and survive. I'm serious, Stanley. Jump. Jump with the bucket. I promise you'll live. I extra double promise that you can land on the bucket and not die.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Okay.
Whoops. Looks like I was wrong.
Oh no.
How clumsy of me.
I messed up my parkour. Sorry, Bucket. Let me try that again.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Ah, Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker he would ever truly need.
Yep. And the best
Stanley clutched the bucket
tightly
tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
This time I'll show you again, and this time hopefully I'll do it right. There we go. I got this.
But
Wait,
Stanley
it didn't
feared that
work.
any path he walked might lead
Actually,
to the
it did.
separation of himself and the
It
bucket,
didn't save us.
his dearest
Sorry,
friend.
Bucket.
So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Yeah, how sad. Okay, I'll get more endings in the next video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day.